Should you take deposits for consultations? Well, the short answer is no. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But first, I want to explain that there are some scenarios where taking deposits is the better option. Let's say, for example, you're a clinic with a chocolate block schedule, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, all day, every day. A no-show could indirectly take revenue from the business by blocking that slot from someone who otherwise would have attended and happily paid you money. But for the vast majority of clinics, that's not applicable. If you have open slots on your schedule and you implement deposit taking for consultations, you're more so doing that out of a place of trying to avoid the annoying scenario of a no-show. You don't necessarily need the deposit taking, you're doing that to reduce the number of no-shows that you get. Now, on a surface level, it sounds accurate. Yes, you will reduce the number of no-shows that you get, but if you dig down a little deeper, you actually realize it's a deterrent, because there's a lot of people there that won't want to pay a deposit before they've even met you. And chances are you're doing this because you've advertised on Facebook and Instagram to people who are a little bit earlier in the buying cycle. These are people who have probably never been with you before. They've probably never even had the treatment before. Right now, they're just in the exploratory phase where they want to know that you're the right option to go with. And when you take deposits, when you demand deposits for the consultation prior to them even coming to you, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. What I mean by that is you're not giving yourself the opportunity to build trust, rapport, authority, credibility with that person, and letting that person know that you are the best option to go with. So I see that when you implement deposit taking into the process, you're adding a bunch of friction to the process, and people don't like friction. The more friction and hoops that you make people jump through to get the thing that they want, the more likely you are to say, nah, you know what, not interested. I'll go somewhere else that doesn't have that friction. And so what you're doing is you're depriving yourself of the opportunity to build trust with that person. And even if they don't convert then and there on the day of the consultation, they still may come to you in the future because you've built that trust, rapport, credibility with them. And when it is time for them to go, you know what, I'm ready for this now, you're depriving yourself of that opportunity. So I want to talk a little bit about some strategies to reduce no-shows if you are offering free consultations. So the way to do this would be to make calls to the person to verify over the phone that they will attend, that they've booked their appointment. Like just a friendly 30 to 60 second long call is all it needs. It's a lot harder for people to ghost or no-show if they've spoken to a real person over the phone. So this would be one strategy. Another would be a really robust appointment confirmation and reminder sequence, which is something that not a lot of clinics do. They may have one or two texts, like the confirmation and one more reminder, but you need to have a really rigorous one. Let's say the initial confirmation, 1 7 days out, 1 3 days out, 1 day out, 1 2 hours out of the appointment. If you have that rigorous appointment reminder sequence, chances are you're going to get in front of them, and there's going to be no way that they can no-show you, particularly if you've called them as well in between that process, just to have them speak with a real human. And then there's other ways as well. Let's say within that rigorous appointment confirmation and reminder sequence, in each of those messages, it's not just going to be a copy and paste of the same one. Hey, X, Y, Z, your appointment is here, looking forward to seeing you. What you can do is you can start to remind them of the value of the consultation, remind them what they're going to get, remind them why they initially expressed interest and booked this consultation in the first place. And you can do this through case studies, before and after images, through testimonials, through a personalized voice note or video from the founder or the practitioner. All of these strategies work so much better than taking deposits for consultations, because there's two main reasons why people no-show. And as long as you understand these, you'll be able to circumvent around that and ensure that it doesn't become a problem. So the two reasons why people no-show is because, one, they've genuinely forgot the appointment, and that can happen if you let people book 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in advance. But as long as you have that rigorous appointment confirmation and reminder sequence, that should not become problematic. The second reason is that they just don't see the value in it anymore. Sometimes so much time has passed since making the booking to when the booking event happens, that they just lose interest and they just don't see the value. And so the way to navigate that is, as I said, through the case studies, testimonials, before and after images, reminding them the value of the consultation and why they should show up and speak to a professional. So I'm not just basing this off subjective opinion, I'm basing this off the numbers, and numbers don't lie. So if I look at Clinic A, who offers free consultations, versus Clinic B, who takes deposits for their consultations. Let's say they're both running ads, spending $1,000 per month. They're both getting the same cost per lead, so therefore they're both generating 100 leads per month. This is where things start to vary. So Clinic A, offering free consultations, end up getting a 30% appointment booking rate or appointment conversion rate. Now this is quite conservative, because what I tend to see with my clients is that appointment conversion rate for free consultations can be anywhere from 40 to 60%, but I wanted to keep it conservative and contrast this with Clinic B, who has a 10% appointment booking rate, which tends to be the average of what I see from the clinics that do take deposits for their consultations. So we can see here that Clinic A is booking a 30 appointments versus Clinic B, who is booking 10 appointments. Now, just being very generous again, Clinic A has a 40% no-show rate, where Clinic B has a 0% no-show rate. This means Clinic A is generating 18 net appointments and Clinic B is generating 10 net appointments. So there's a big discrepancy there, even though Clinic A has a significantly higher no-show rate. So when we go down a little bit further and we see that Clinic A has a 75% sales conversion rate or a consultation conversion rate. These are the people who attend the consultation and commit to the treatment plan, versus Clinic B, who has a 100% consultation conversion rate. We see that the net new patients is Clinic A is generating 3 more new patients than Clinic B is doing. So Clinic A is 13 new patients, Clinic B is 10 new patients. And is generating more revenue and acquiring patients at a cheaper cost basis. So this CAC here is your client acquisition costs. So this is even with a conservative appointment booking rate, a generous no-show rate, conservative consultation conversion rate. Let's play around with these figures, because these can be optimized. You're not just stuck with these figures. So let's say Clinic A decides to really hone down their appointment confirmation and reminder sequence to reduce their no-shows. So let's say they do it so well, they bring it down to 20%, and they decide to optimize their consultation conversion rate, and they get an extra 5% out of it. Now all of a sudden we can see that Clinic A is generating nearly twice the revenue that Clinic B is generating, even though Clinic B has a 0% no-show rate and a 100% consultation conversion rate. And it purely comes down to the volume of new appointments being booked. So I hope that makes it clear why free consultations are better if you are a clinic with space on your calendar. If you get to a stage where your calendar is chock blocked, then maybe you should start taking deposits for your consultations. But as I said, that is not the reality for the vast majority of clinics. So I hope you like this. I hope you found it useful. Please give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.